Royalty in the title. Cookie Quiz. Yeah. There's royalty behind the scenes. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Tell us about that, how they got involved.
Prince William has reportedly reached his breaking point. According to insiders close to the palace, he is now considering legal action against Meghan Markle over her continued use of the title Duchess of Sussex, a title she and Prince Harry agreed to step back from when they left royal duties in 2021. William's message, reportedly delivered through royal legal advisors, was direct and unmistakable. You cannot live outside the institution and still profit from its name. This move hasn't come out of nowhere. Over the past few months, there have been several public incidents where Meghan allegedly reacted strongly behind the scenes if she wasn't formally introduced as the Duchess of Sussex. At one event, staff were said to be sharply reprimanded for leaving the title off a printed program. At another, she reportedly paused a red carpet appearance until an announcer corrected her introduction. According to people who have worked events involving her, the title has become non-negotiable. Without it, her demeanor reportedly shifts immediately. For someone who publicly distanced herself from royal life, the insistence on being recognized as a duchess has raised eyebrows, and William is said to be done watching it unfold. As the future king, William is believed to be highly protective of royal titles and how they are represented in public life. His position is said to be firm. If you have stepped away from royal responsibility, you should not continue benefiting from the status attached to it. In 2021, Meghan and Harry made it clear they wanted out. They gave emotional interviews describing royal life as toxic, suffocating, and in Meghan's case, racially insensitive. She spoke about feeling unheard, claimed she faced mistreatment because of her skin color, and expressed a desire to live privately beyond the institution. Yet since then, they have remained firmly in the spotlight, multi-million-dollar agreements with Netflix and Spotify, a high-profile documentary series, high-visibility interviews, glossy magazine covers, and appearances at major Hollywood events. The very attention they claim to reject seemed to follow them everywhere. Now, in 2026, with major deals reportedly slowing down, Meghan appears to be leaning more heavily on the royal branding, even after publicly criticizing the monarchy. Sources say frustration inside palace circles has grown. William, in particular, is rumored to be exploring legal steps to restrict the commercial or public use of the Duchess of Sussex title. He reportedly views its continued use as harmful to the monarchy's credibility, especially after years of public criticism from the couple. One palace aide allegedly remarked, "You cannot criticize the crown for years and then rely on its name when it suits you." For Meghan, the title is said to be more than ceremonial. It represents status, identity, and influence. Without it, she would stand solely as Meghan Markle. In certain social circles, that distinction matters. Much of her public persona has balanced on the image of being royal yet independent, connected yet outside the system. If that final connection is formally challenged, the narrative shifts dramatically. Insiders claim this is why she continues to insist on the title being used at public events, even when audiences seem indifferent and hosts are reportedly advised otherwise.
Royalty in the title. Cookie Quiz. Yeah. There's royalty behind the scenes. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Tell us about that, how they got involved.
It hasn't helped that this unfolds after months of very public setbacks. Meghan has reportedly been declined invitations to several high-profile Fashion Week events in both Paris and New York City. Organizers allegedly told representatives that her appearance could overshadow the designers themselves. Sources claim some European luxury circles have quietly signaled that surprise appearances and photo-op positioning are no longer welcome. The pushback has reportedly grown, so coordinated that certain event planners now circulate private, do not prioritize lists, and her name is said to appear on more than one. At the same time, financial questions have added pressure. The Archwell Foundation has reportedly faced scrutiny over administrative filings, with talk of possible regulatory review. Brands that once competed to collaborate are now described as hesitant. One media executive allegedly summarized the mood bluntly: she has become too controversial to risk. Public opinion, they noted, has shifted significantly since the Oprah Winfrey Show interview era that once generated enormous sympathy. In 2020, Meghan was widely viewed as an outsider navigating an unforgiving system. By 2026, critics argue that perception is eroding. She said she stepped away for peace, yet built major media projects around royal narratives. She emphasized privacy for her children, yet shared carefully curated glimpses in streaming content. She spoke of being silenced, then launched a podcast platform. Each controversy has reportedly been framed as misunderstanding or conspiracy. Over time, even some former supporters say the pattern feels repetitive. The bullying allegations have further complicated the picture. Former aides from palace years and later ventures have described tense work environments, raised voices, rigid control, and emotional strain. One assistant allegedly stepped away from duties due to stress. Others characterized her as intensely detail-driven to the point of volatility. Stories once dismissed as tabloid exaggeration are now resurfacing in more mainstream conversations. Then came the Netflix series released through Netflix, a project Meghan and Harry reportedly viewed as defining. It was meant to solidify their perspective. Instead, critics highlighted perceived inconsistencies, deeply painful recollections presented alongside stylized reenactments. A moment referencing a royal curtsy drew particular backlash, interpreted by some as irreverent. Reviews were sharply divided. With opportunities narrowing, Harry is said to be attempting quiet damage control. Friends suggest he has reached out to former contacts, exploring interviews or pathways toward reconciliation. There are whispers he even floated the idea of media rehabilitation without reopening old wounds. So far, neither press nor palace appear eager. Harry himself is reportedly under visible strain. Royal life, though restrictive, provided structure and defined purpose. Hollywood operates by harsher rules, competitive, expensive, unforgiving. Observers say he has appeared more subdued in recent months, speaking nostalgically about Britain, military service, and family ties. According to insiders, the weight of departure feels heavier now than it once did. Meghan may still be confronting critics head-on, but Harry, they say, seems increasingly conflicted. So what remains ahead for Meghan? Fashion initiatives have slowed. Media partnerships appear uncertain. Her brand, once aspirational, is now polarizing. If Prince William proceeds with formal restrictions on the Duchess of Sussex designation, the implications could be profound. Much of her public identity balances on that dual image, royal yet independent, insider yet challenger. Remove the title, and the narrative shifts dramatically. Supporters insist she has reinvented herself before and can again. Critics argue the audience has grown skeptical. They remember interviews, documentaries, promises. A new sympathetic reset may be harder to engineer. Friends claim she is already exploring fresh angles, influencer collaborations, strategic profiles, carefully placed features in friendlier outlets. Yet momentum has not returned. Attention feels different, quieter, less forgiving. As palace resolve reportedly hardens, as William asserts boundaries, and as Harry's stance appears less certain, the looming question changes. It is no longer simply whether she can recover. It is whether the cycle of controversy, rebranding, and rebuttal can sustain itself at all. In the arena of image and influence, reputations can fracture quickly, and if legal lines are formally drawn, this chapter may mark not just another dispute, but a decisive turning point neither side can easily undo.